All right, we live. So,
All right.
um, thank you so much for participating in the Faith and Finesse Mastermind series. Just to add a little bit more context on just the whole intention of the series, it's my birthday month, and I love showing my appreciation for my journey as well as sharing the people that I've connected with over my journey. I know that all of our stories and insights and experiences can add value to others that are on this entrepreneurial, personal freedom, financial freedom journey. And so I think it's important for us to come in community, collaborate, and just share in this mastermind setting. So I always like to start off with a moment of gratitude. So dear God, thank you for bringing us together in this space right now. I pray and hope that everyone that's here, they get what they came to receive, and that they're able to utilize any tools, any gems, anything that really stands out that allows them to really take action and move forward towards their goals. Dear God, I hope that you give them the strength and the courage to move on those. I pray that everyone gets the clarity that they're seeking, as well as just have a sense of community and knowing that, we're not alone and that we're all in this together. So in Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. So Miss Imani Sade.
Yes, let's get it.
How did we even get connected? I mean, I don't know how deep we want to go in our story, but really, this is really family right here.
Yes. I don't even ever describe you as anything other than that. Anybody I talk to outside, like when they be like, "Oh, do you know Precious?" Yeah, it's going crazy. They like, "Do you know Precious and all this stuff?" Because I got people like even within the investment group that know you, and they're like, yeah, that I'm like, yo, that's my cousin. Like, I'm just real quick. Like, I'm always saying that. Like, I don't really see you as like, I don't even know what to call you. I couldn't call you nothing else. Like, for real. So I can't say a friend. That's a super, like.
No, we're definitely doing that. We literally grew up together, guys. Like, same household. Like, school bus, lunch, chores. We've done it all. And wow, it's been years. Like, literally since we were kids. So, I definitely consider Imani like family, and we have done a lot of pivoting together and separately, and just I mean, how long would you consider yourself on this entrepreneurial journey? Like, what would you consider your start date? Because I know some people like to say, a lot of people stay in the thinking phase of entrepreneurship, but I'm talking about actually taking action and like really putting in the work. When did you start putting in the work towards pursuing your entrepreneurship journey?
I really started my journey. I think I would honestly say around it's hard to say because I mean, as you know, Precious, and as we've always been entrepreneur spirited and entrepreneur minded. And I think that
our parents were, we had no choice really.
Exactly. And and I mean the way Precious and I actually kind of met is through familial relationships. So like our parents were super close. And just law of attraction brought us together, so that's pretty essentially how it was, but definitely very entrepreneurial growing up. But I don't think I really started my journey. I will say that, so when I was 15, I started my first like brand, and that was my first like shot, but I was doing it with a business partner that didn't have that same drive or focus or mindset that I did, and was also extremely discouraged because of his parents. His parents was always like a factor in just discouraging them from doing things and trying things. So that ended up not really, going anywhere. And so, fast forward, what ended up happening, I was like 19 and I was in college. I was at University of Houston. I was there for 2 years. And I really realized like, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, this is great, but I already had the mindset that school was not going to get me there. I already knew that school was not going to get me to the place that I needed to go to be successful and to see the life that I envisioned. And one thing that you guys, that I probably should have put outside of being a Forex trader, outside of being a model, and an independent artist, I am also a visionary. And I will say that, that the one thing that I've always been chasing was my vision for myself and my life. So, and entrepreneurship was the only way that I ever saw that really happening and manifesting. So, just because of the financial freedom and the time, to do the things that you really love to do or do nothing at all. And that's something that I'm we can probably get more into. But I would definitely say that entrepreneurship definitely started at 8 years old. I moved to New York, freelance model. But my goal was to be signed, but I wasn't signed yet. So I was just out there really trying to make it happen. And I will say that to some degree, I mean, you literally cash taxes as a 1099 as a model when you're signed. So technically, you're an entrepreneur, So my journey definitely started. I went out there and took a shot on myself, and it worked out. So at 19 years old, I'll say officially, I really dove in and went all in.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we all have our ups and downs, our starts and stops and pauses and things like that. So yeah, I would definitely deem 15 as the age that you started your journey. And just to kind of piggyback to the conversation of you saying, your business partner and how you guys started, and that was a pivot for you to make that decision. I'm assuming you dissolved the partnership, or what was that conversation like? Because a lot of us get into partnerships with friends or, people we believe we have like-minded or the same interests, but then it doesn't go as planned. So how did you pivot from that partnership into figuring out your own?
Honestly, and it was actually tough because it was a good friend of mine at the time. It's probably what I would consider, a best friend at the time. Somebody I thought I saw a lot of success in him, and I really, really had high anticipations for what he would do with that potential. So at the time it was definitely difficult because it was a dream of mine, and I really felt like we could do it, and I know we could have done it. Even to this day, we could have definitely done it. No, who knows what that would have manifested into? Everything happens for a reason, but I feel like we definitely could have done it. So to be able to exit out that partnership, I mean, it was difficult because we had planned it out. I mean, we mapped it out. We were up at 12 a.m. and we had school the next day. We were in high school at the time. So we had school the next day and we were up and that was the first time. That's why I knew entrepreneurship started, because I was passionate about something. I wasn't staying up 12 a.m. to do homework unless it was due the next day. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't just so passionate about homework or anything like that, but I was very passionate when it came to creating. And that's something that I would definitely, I don't even know if I could even call myself, I'm a creator.
You realize I label you as a creative entrepreneur. You're a multi-passionate entrepreneur. And so I support multi-passionate entrepreneurs. I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't do multiple things. We are all multi-talented. It's just important for us to prioritize our gifts in a way where we set the foundation and we're able to build upon and be able to master that one thing that's then going to be able to allow us to do all the other things. So when you talk about having a bucket list and one, I have a list of things I want to do. This is just a part of the process, And so This is about falling in love with the process. So
Yes.
So it's good that you brought up what you were passionate about. And so with that, I'm assuming that you were direct in having that conversation. I hope you didn't just let it do its own thing. I hate when people are like, oh, I'm gonna just let it slide. But if you really care about somebody, you'll have that upfront conversation of this is not working out.
I mean, listen, I let them know, man, because it was really the parent thing. It was just shutdown after shutdown after shutdown. And at that time, being so young, we really needed that support from the family because we didn't have a lot of money coming in. I was a full-time athlete as well as he was. So it's we didn't really have those part-time jobs and all that. So it's we didn't have the money to just support ourselves unless we were saving up from Christmas or something like that. So it's without that familial support, I kind of just told them and you can't touch too much on people's parents. So I really stayed away from that topic, but it was really dude, you can do, forget about that, man. Let's use what we have. And I really wanted to push it forward. I really believed we could. And I had to, we had to have that tough conversation, just yo, this not working out, man. I don't feel like you're dedicated, because if you were, those things would only be motivating factors to help you, propel you to get to the next level, but you're letting them distract you, which means, you don't really want it. So we just had that conversation and, we just realized that it probably wasn't even in our best interest to be business partners, just off the difference of mindsets.
Right. Yeah. And mindset brings up a good point, just in regards to your leadership as a whole. I've always considered you a person that owned their thoughts and was an individual thinker and visionary. And so how would you say, where do you feel like your level of leadership made a pivot for the greater good of the vision that you see for yourself? What situation or what scenario or what relationship or what opportunity allowed you where you were like, okay, I'm about to level up from a leadership perspective?
Wow, that's a great question, honestly. So growing up, I was an athlete. Okay. And with that being said, I've won 3 state championships in high school. So I was and I was the freshman on varsity. Now, mind you, before the way I got to be freshman on varsity is because of the fact that I was coming from an organization where I was used to being the best player on the team. Just being real, I was carrying the squad, but they weren't that good. They were good enough, but they weren't that good. So and this is something that I encourage for any entrepreneur and anybody, is position yourself around people that have the results you want. And we talk about that all the time within my investment group, is you want to leverage the people that have the results you want. Because at the end of the day, you want those results. No matter what you want to say about how they're getting it, what you want to say about anything, you want those results, so you need to be duplicating what they're doing. And so what I did was I was able, as a freshman on varsity, to start realizing that, in order for me I couldn't be the biggest fish anymore if I wanted to grow. I had to position myself around people that were better than me in almost every way.
Yeah.
And that was the only way I was going to grow. And I'll say that I've had the pleasure of being mentored, directly and indirectly by some amazing people. I would consider you a very great mentor of mine as well. And these people have literally shifted my mindset and my focus for where I want to go. And I think that, seeing people compete at such a high level, everybody that I pretty much played with went high D1. And for me to be a freshman, we're like ranked number 3 in the country. I just got to see winning at a high level, a very high level. And I think that I will always directly credit a lot of the success that I'm having now and in the future to the fact that I was a part of a winning organization that pushed me, that didn't allow me to think small, that didn't allow me to settle for who I was, and always made me, aim and reach higher. And that's the beautiful thing about being around people better than you at certain things, because it makes you not feel complacent with who you are.
Right.
And so I would say that leadership wise, I've developed by forcing myself around people that I wanted to aspire to be like, and that were probably older than me, that probably had more experience than me in every area that I've ever wanted to be a part of. And I just was a student to the game, soaked it all up, and it allowed me to be a leader for the people that came after me.
Awesome. So let's get into this fashion side of Imani. I mean, you've always been, style has just always been a thing. Like, it's just like innate, right? And just in your nature and in your being. But how did you even be able to build your brand in a way where you have like international awareness for your talent?
Honestly, freaking consistency, guys. Freaking consistency.
Right.
Like, people think that things are just,
resilience. I have to add that word in there because you're very resilient.
Yes, resilience. I mean, you have to really have that mindset that if I get knocked down 9 times, I'm getting up 10.
Yeah.
You have to have that mindset. You cannot have the mindset of, all right, well, I'm gonna give it 3 good times, and if I get knocked down 3 times, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because you never know when your breakthrough will come, guys. And I promise you, if I could show you what's happening downstairs right now in this 4-story townhouse that I have right now in the Houston Heights, you would be like, what? The fact I even have this right now is crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you go down and you see a room filled with people that can't even sit down, that's standing room only. And the fact that I have before, and we're definitely getting the fashion, but even to this current day, I'm implementing this same mindset. Because at one point I sent a few text messages out and literally filled up a room.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time and period and point, when I first got started on my Forex journey, where I was sending more text messages out than I just sent today, and I couldn't even get 3 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is a testimony of resilience. It's a testimony of confidence, because you have to know what your deciding factors are when it comes to making a decision what you want to do. When I moved to New York, just to get back to the topic, when I moved to New York, and I decided that I wanted to go become a model, I had already made up my mind, number one, that I wasn't settling for the agency I was signing to. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing I had made up my mind about, because I had been offered multiple times to get signed. So when I say it took me over a year, really over 2 years to really get signed out in New York, it's not because of like nobody hit me up. It was literally because I chose to decline every single offer besides what I knew I was willing to commit to. Mm-hmm. Because at that point I realized that I had come too far to settle.
Right.
And I think that when you make that decision, you know, you be surprised what you can have. And so, you know, getting signed as an international model was a dream. It was a manifestation. And I think that honestly, everything that I have in my life, I've visualized. I've manifested. I've thought about it some point in time, and I've manifested it. And guys, the more success that I get, and I'm feeling super hyped right now because like I'm in the brink of this really huge change and alteration in my lifestyle and my whole life in general as we know it. And so I have a lot of energy inside of me and a lot of things I'm learning and soaking up from this time period. That's why I'm very happy to be on this call, because it's a breath of fresh air to actually talk to somebody outside of my industry as well, that, you know, that we can just bounce ideas off of each other. And I mean it when I say that manifestation is the one way that I've gotten everything I've ever gotten. It's the way we won championships back in high school. We knew we were winners. We knew we were winners. We had no doubt in our minds that we were winning. And that was how we manifested. We knew it. And it's the same way when you know you're a millionaire, when you know you deserve that Bentley, when you know you deserve that Rolls Royce. It's like you just know it. Like, it's mine. I deserve that. That's mine. You have to claim ownership of your dream and your goal. A lot of people, we make a goal and then we put it out there, and then somebody else goes and gets it because you didn't claim ownership of it. You can look at somebody else and see it for them, but you can't see it for you. That's a problem. So that's the whole thing, is like the way I've been able to get internationally signed. I lie to you not, guys. Every single, like, so say Fashion Week is going to be in September and going to be in February. Every single like mid period, like so summertime or, you know, right before or right after those Fashion Weeks, I would, even if I didn't make my dream happen for that past one, I would keep saying, well, you know, next Fashion Week, I'll be signing in London and Milan. I'll probably have to go out there. You never know. So I would never schedule things around that time period. Mm-hmm. So even if my family would be like, hey, I need you to, or my best friend, one of my friends, her birthday was in February. And I would be like, nah, like, I can't come out there. And guys, this is actually crazy because this is the year I got signed. And she wanted me to come to Puerto Rico for her birthday. And I told her I couldn't because Fashion Week was coming up and I wasn't signed yet, but I knew my opportunity was waiting for me. And so what I did, I positioned myself and I was like, nah, I can't come. And so every single year I would put out there, well, you never know. I could end up in Milan and Paris, or I could end up in London, and you never know. So
I'm sure people probably thought you were crazy. Like, what is she talking about? Milan, Paris? Like, she's barely in New York. Like, what is she saying?
Yo, my grandma literally told me to stop telling people I was a model until I got signed. She's like, you're not a model yet, Imani. You're not signed. And I'm like, what? And you guys know, as that's such a dream crushing feeling for somebody to say. But that's why I say, like, what does that do for you? Does that motivate you? It didn't discourage me at all. It really just made me feel like, all right, well, I'm going to not talk to you until I get signed because I don't even want the energy, you know?
Right.
But just realistically speaking, I mean, I definitely, like, I let her know how I felt about that. But just like, I kept manifesting it. And she didn't understand why the heck I kept saying I was doing these things. And I wasn't capping, like, pretending like I was doing things. I just kept saying it for the future, like, it's going to happen. I was confident that I had ownership of my dream. And so once I did that and once I took that power into my own hands and I said, no, I'm going to do this. And I believed it with all of my heart, guys. It was only a matter of time before it manifested.
Yes. Oh, my God. Okay, so let's simmer down to a place where, you know, we're talking about faith and finesse here, right? So when was there a time where you had to, I mean, honestly, life is all about finesse. And I know finesse has like a negative connotation, but I attach faith and finesse to kind of bring a more positive light to it because it's essentially you strategizing to get what you want. And so you can't do that without faith. So can you share a time where you had, I mean, technically you've already shared a time where you've had crazy faith and you finessed and you've actually made it happen, but share one of those like downfalls where you like had faith that this was going to happen and it didn't. And how did you pivot that situation, or what was your thought process in accepting it and then still trying to pivot and move forward?
I think that at multiple times in my life, even to this day, I mean, I've had expectations for certain goals and things, and they didn't happen necessarily in my time frame. But you know, I'm pivoting even right now, just being honest. But definitely one of the things that I've experienced in my life was, you know, I mean, it's like I want to talk about fashion because so many failures came before the success. So a lot of time, like, even being signed, even expecting to come out there, I saw the agency I got signed to, I went to them 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't remember me at all when I actually got signed.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, they had no idea they'd seen me before. And I didn't even tell them until after I signed the papers.
You have a very unique look, so I'm confused. I'm so
Listen,
confused.
that's why, and that's honestly what brings me here, like, to this moment, because I felt that I know that, and I'm like, it should be like, in my mind, not to, like, but I should feel like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like, real talk. Like, I'm fashionable. I already know how to wear clothes, so, like, why can't I do this? What makes me different than anybody else? That was kind of my mindset. And there was some testimony. You know, I always say, you know, the testimony doesn't come without the test. And so every time I'm in a test, I know that it's just setting me up for my story and for my testimony. And so I don't mind. I'm writing the book as I go, you know, and I'm noting it down. I'm gonna let everybody know how it happened, you know, because I realize that, and that's what encourages me as well, because I know that my mission and my purpose, I'm a vessel of light for others to look at. Because this is the thing, and I don't even know if this answers your question, honestly, but this just, like, came to me. So the thing about it is that we can't see our own reflection, right? We can't see our own reflection. All we can see is we can't look at ourselves. Like, I can look myself in a mirror, but I can't see myself.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to see myself.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very powerful message that God sends us that people don't even realize.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means to me is that I'm a light for others. I'm not a light for me.
Right.
My success, what I do for me is not going to be my most told story when I pass. What was going to be my most told story is the success that I've created and that I've helped develop in others, the success that I've partaken in, the investments that into dreams that I've given to people. That's what I want people to say. Like, yo, Imani put down $100,000 and helped me start up this. Imani gave me $500,000 and helped me start up this. You know, like, that's what I want my testimony to be, and how we rocked out and took it to the whole next level. So, one thing that I realized throughout all this testimony and all the failure that I've experienced, including just even you know, I'm a forex trader. Which means
can you explain what that is, just for those that don't know?
Okay, so forex is actually trading the fluctuation of currencies. So you're trading the fluctuation of foreign exchange rates. All right. So let's just say that a foreign exchange rate. So that way everybody on the call knows, a foreign exchange rate is going to be the value of one country's currency to the value of another, right? And the thing about these exchange rates, so like, say United States dollar versus the Great British pound, right? Just two random currencies. Now the thing about that is that these exchange rates are fluctuating continuously. And so how we make money is going to be as they go up and down, which makes it very different from stock trading, very different from real estate, because you're buying asset-based things, and the value has to go up in order for you to make money. With us, we don't have to buy anything. We don't have to own. So you don't even have that responsibility of having to take on another asset. You literally are being able to make money as the currency pairs are fluctuating up and down. And what our investment group does is we actually send you the signals to copy and paste to make sure that you're coming in making money. I've had 2 people this week make over 300 in their first day. So the goal is that you're coming in, you create some extra cash flow to keep you going. Now, a lot of people, they either have a job or they're full-time creatives. And the thing about being a full-time creative is that you don't really have the money to invest into your art. And then the thing about being a full-time job is that you don't have the money to even really pay your bills or the time really to do the things you love. So what Forex allows you to do is it's the solution to both of those problems. It gives you the money that you need to fund your business or whatever creative outlet that you want to do. And it also gives you the time that you need, so that way you can focus on those things that you really love to do. And that's essentially what we do. Now, the thing about outside of the Forex, there's actually two streams of income within this opportunity. And the one stream of income is going to come from the foreign exchange market, the largest financial market in the world, $7.3 trillion a day market, right? It's like the stock market's big brother. So that's the foreign exchange market. Now, outside of that, we do have a second source of income, which is going to be network marketing, just frankly put, right? It's network marketing. And so one thing that I ran into, right, is that, you know, I'm in the process right now, guys, for everybody that wants, like, I'm literally like days away from touching 6 figures for the year, you know, and my projection for the end of this year, thank you. My projection for the end of this year will be 7 figures. And so that's what I'm working towards now, day in and day out. So now the thing about that is the fact that, with that being said, I had a situation happen to where I would have already been a 6-figure earner. Like, I would have already hit that mark as far as in the residual side, because what we use the residual side, which is the network marketing side for, is to fund the money that we need to put into the market so we can exchange. So that way you're not worrying about going to a job and putting it in the market and flipping it. Of course, you're going to probably start off like that, but eventually you want to get to the point where you're sharing this opportunity enough and you're opening your mouth about the fact that you're making money as well. Plenty of people out here that want to do the same. They join your business and, you know, they get into the mentorship programs that we have available. They make money and so on and so forth. So the thing about it is that I had a situation where I would have already had that happen with the amount of people that I needed to hit that particular rank. And my whole business literally plummeted. And it happened right after my younger brother, who I brought into the opportunity, hit 6 figures.
Yeah. Wow.
So I thought, if God is not trying to play games with me, like for real, like right now, bro, it's a flex the fact that you are hitting the success. I'm like, yeah. But I got a Maserati that I'm trying to go cop right now, and I need my money. You know what I'm saying? And so
you kind of Maserati? Okay.
Yeah, we on that. So the thing about it is the fact that I'm like, okay, my leader, you know, she's getting into it with the person that's supposed to be my leader in that leg or whatever. She's getting into it with her leader. It's just like a lot of I'm like, what's going on?
That was a major pivot for you to be on the incline, and then all of a sudden you're now like plateaued. So
exactly,
how did you be able to build that momentum again?
Honestly, so this is what I did. And this is in the last 2 weeks. I got this Airbnb. My mentor, Brandon Thompson. He's a millionaire in the opportunity. He was a 6-figure earner when I got started. The rank that I'm actually currently about to hit. He was that rank when I got started. Now he's a millionaire in less than a year's time. Mm-hmm. So that's dope. And so he came here from Atlanta and was like, yo, like, I know he didn't even know. What's crazy is that I had so much pride. I didn't even tell him this. I didn't even tell him how much I was actually struggling in that particular situation.
Yeah.
He had no idea. But guys, it's crazy though, because what I did, first of all, I manifested. I put out there every single day that I was going to find somebody that had the leadership that it takes to get to the next level. Because I said, I'm a world-class leader. I'm a world-class investor. I'm a world-class game changer and game player. And I said, I'm only going to accept world-class people into my life at this particular time. And so I put it out there and I said, God, I need you to bring me somebody that is very serious about getting to the next level. Like, I need you to, like, that's like, want it today. Like, ready today, like, ready to go and change their life right now, because I have what it takes and I have the vehicle to help them do that. And so I put it out there and I put it out there and I put it out there and I said it every day, multiple times a day. I would tell my leaders, like, yo, like, because they ready to see me hit. They know the value that I bring, so they ready to see it happen. So I'm like, bro, I'm telling them every single day, like, yo, like, I know what I need. I just kept saying it. What I was manifesting, somebody that was dedicated, disciplined, you know, all these different things. And the craziest part about it, I went to work out at Memorial Hermann Park. And just a random day, you know, I was like, you know what, through quarantine, I'm about to be working out. You know, I went to work out at Memorial Hermann Park and I saw a guy working out there and his body looked dope. I was like, yo, bro, that's how I'm trying to look in the summertime. I was like, yo, can you plug in with me with the training? He's like, yeah, of course. So I ended up bringing up to him, you know, the foreign exchange market. I told him, yo, pull up at this Airbnb, man. I really want to just chop it with you and just kind of show you the vibes of the family and get you, you know, plugged in. And what he was able to do, he pulled up 3 days. But mind you, he told me Forex wasn't for him when I first asked him about it. And I said, man, just pull up, bro.
I'm sure you hear that a lot too.
All the time, because people have this perception of what they think it is, as well as I did, until I found out what it really was. Yeah. In a network that is unmatched, literally. And so the thing about it is I realized, I was like, okay, this guy, he came in, he saw the vibes. 3 days later, he signed up. He's already making residual income. He already quit his job. It has only been a week. Today makes officially a week.
I'm sorry. This is a pretty drastic life change, okay? This is in 1 week's time. This man has invested enough faith and trust into this opportunity to quit his job.
And he's making residual income. He just hit his first rank yesterday.
How, Sway? How? How? The people want to know.
I told you.
People want to know.
You asked me how I was pivoting. I told you I'm currently pivoting. And what I said, I am so happy and grateful now that I have actually been able. So like I told you, I was falling off, guys. I have more than doubled that leg in the last 10 days.
Wow.
And it was a decision that I made. And I called my mentor. He's a millionaire right now. And his younger brother actually just had $500,000 a month rent. The guy he put in, his younger brother, my mentor currently is downstairs right now. His younger brother's making $500,000 a month, 6 figures every week. So I talked to him and I called him and I said, bro, I've made the decision. I'm all in, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I will never be broke ever a day in my life ever again.
Yeah.
Ever. I will never be in lack. I will never speak in lack. I will never think in lack a day in my life ever again. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. And I was like, yo, it's so crazy. I just knew, like, I knew this was going to bring that change that I needed. I knew it because I was ready. And I was saying, God, I won't accept anything less. And one thing that people have to understand about that relationship with the divine power is that you can demand things out of your life. You can actually say what you're not willing to deal with, what you absolutely must have in your life, as long as you're willing to go get it, as long as you're willing to constantly become a match for it. And so that's what I did. I started studying personal development every day. I woke up listening to personal development. I stopped talking to the person that I was talking to. I stopped talking to her. I said, yo, I got to get to the next level because guess what? If I don't got the bag, guess what you're going to go do? Start looking around for somebody with the bag. So I got to go get it. That's why I said, I was like, look, like I had to realize that the things that I have in my life right now, if I wanted to get to the next level, I had to totally destroy the person that I was because I knew that that person wasn't attached to the place that I was going. And that was the decision that I made, that I would never go back, and that whatever it took, I was willing to do it.
Right. I think it's important that you say that, to make that decision to go all in. A lot of us like to stay in the gray or stay in the brainstorming space, or like to, you know, give themselves the comfort to, and I think it's important to give yourself time to figure things out, but you cannot sit there for a long time. I've had a few different clarity sessions with different entrepreneurs, and them saying, you know, not really sure of how to execute and move in this space, in this pandemic, in this quarantine, and this and that. And the advice I'm giving everybody is to, whatever pure thought that you have, execute on it in its purest form. Test and pivot. You cannot sit here and come up with this thought and then create a derivative of that thought into another thought, because you're not moving. You're just literally sitting there thinking. And I say, whatever the purest form of that thought is, take action on that. And then that's the only way you'll know if it works or not. If you don't take action, you're just going to be sitting here thinking, dang, I could do this, or possibly I could do this. But that's the whole thing of like being in your own way. And so this is the perfect time for you to literally just try any and everything you ever thought of. Because right now, everyone is focused on surviving, or really focused on their own. Nobody worry about you. Like, you can literally, whatever thoughts that you've had, or whatever preconceived notions or reasons you thought you could not do something, all of the expectations of others are being pulled away to where you can set a new standard for yourself and fail forward without feeling this type of, because, you know, a lot of people are looking for validation. Screw everybody's validation. God has already validated you for whatever you want. And so I feel like you personally, you have never asked for validation from anybody. You have owned every thought, every move that you've made, any failure that you've made, the small successes, the big successes. And I know that's played a major part in just your growth and evolution. So what's probably like 2 or 3 things that you would give the person right now that's about to pivot, that knows they need to pivot, but has not taken that step forward? Like, what are some of the things they need to keep in mind, or just affirm to themselves for them to make that decision? Because that's what it's about right now. It's just making a decision.
Facts. And I really want to say that because there was no coincidence, guys. And it's crazy because I thought I made the decision a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I thought I had already made it. I'm like, what do you mean I haven't made it? It wasn't until I made it that I realized I hadn't made it. Like, it wasn't until I was like, yo, like, I'm surrendering. That was the feeling that I had. Yeah. It was the loss of control. It was the feeling of like, I'm willing to do what it takes, not what I think that it takes. Yeah. And I think that we all get caught up in that, in our comfort zone of what we are willing to do to get there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I had to tell myself, like, yo, you worked to get signed for 2 years. Your mentor just became a millionaire in 2 years. What, like, the value of that is like totally out of balance. Yeah. So I had to really give myself that perspective and be like, yo, like, you have to surrender.
I'm thinking about now, I'm having reflection on our accountability call that we had when you were telling me about knowing what you need to do and what you have to do and like actually taking steps towards that, and just kind of how you had to like clear your brain to be like, look, this is what you got to do regardless of how you feel about it. Like, this is what you need to do. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that I just like,
that's crazy.
Together.
Yo, it's so crazy because me and you just had that conversation, and I honestly forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because it's funny how we shift and we change and evolve so frequently that we don't even remember our old thought patterns.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was a whole different mind space that I was even in just a few weeks ago. And I literally hit Precious up, and I'm like, Precious, I just need to talk. Like, you know, Precious know when I hit her up, like, yo, like, all right, I didn't give it my best shot. Now I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, I was realizing, like, yo, I know what I need. And I said these same things. Yo, I need a runner. I need this. I got to pick up the phone. I got to call. And it's so crazy because I don't know what about me was not willing. But honestly, what I've realized now is that there was a lot of underachieving energy in that space of that person, of those, like that leader that I had and her mentee. There's a lot of underachieving energy. And I wasn't like attracted to that with where I knew I was aligning myself to go. And so what I had to do was like realign, because I'm like, listen, and even to this day, that leader is still being benefited. I'm still like, just being real. Nobody knows her. I'm still placing people under her. She's still going to hit chairman, regardless of if I got to get her there myself or not. But the fact is, like, she's not mine. Now I don't have to focus because I've set her up. Her loyalty is going to pay her. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But really, I knew that she wasn't the leader that, first of all, could attract the kind of leader that I needed. I knew that only I could do that for my business. So I was like, she's not that person that can go out there and get a superstar that's trying to go chairman in 60 days or 90 days. She's not that person. You know, so I had to really be real and transparent. Like, yo, that's not going to happen. And I can't keep forcing her to be that person. I have to go find her. And so that's when I just was like, yo, I'm not really attracted. A lot of these people, they make excuses every time I call them. Like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to even be dealing with that right now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say, like, you have to demand what you want, you know, because a lot of people, they would have kept trying to beat a dead horse, and they would have ended up moving slower and slower and slower. My guy, Tyler, when I tell you guys, I went to the Galleria, and every single person that I saw, I was with him. Every single person that I saw, we literally were talking, open your mouth. You had a random public setting, and you came and talked to me about it, and you changed my life. He's like, bro, I'm going to do that same thing for everybody else. I want to go tell them about it. So now we don't even shut up about it. And this is so crazy because he's the exact kind of person. I mean, if I had to I said a guy, I even specified the gender of what I was looking for. I said I knew it was going to be a guy that I needed.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of women on already a lot of women. I have a lot of guys too, but I have like young, and then I have a lot of women, and then I have a lot of like the guys, like I'm like, I need a strong like guy. You know what I'm saying? And this guy, I mean, literally, like, he's very strong. He's been in the army, you know, like mad stuff. Like, he just has a lot of discipline. He's a personal trainer. You know, he has the kind of look that he could even be a model. Like, he just has that versatility, that everything that I was looking for. And yeah, and it's really crazy because I was definitely in that mind space. I felt stuck. I was very frustrated. I was very like annoyed because I'm like, I don't see the light just yet. And it's starting to really annoy me because I'm like, the person in that business is still not who I needed, because if they were, they would have been reached out to me.
Yeah.
You know? And so what I was able to do was, like I said, I just realigned. I was like, yo, I got to keep it moving. I got to keep it pushing. I had to be transparent. I had to realize what I wasn't doing. And guys, what's so crazy is that you'll put all this energy out there, and the thing that you actually want will come to you in the most least expected way. So how I got signed, guys, I went to agencies 3 times. And how I actually got signed, I was in a coffee shop, and somebody walked up to me. One of my agents from London was visiting. She actually had the #1 guy model in the world at that time sitting at that table with her. And he was like, yo, go talk to her, bro. She's super dope. She got up and sat. She was actually nervous to talk to me.
Wow.
She was like, I thought you were already signed, some big rap artist or something like that. She sat down, literally talked, because she's from London, so she didn't really know. She sat down, got to talk to me, finding out that she actually manages the #1 guy in the world. Her agency is going crazy. The very next day, I got introduced to the #1 casting director in the world, Ashley Brokaw. She cast for Prada, JW Anderson, all type of like the bigger, more prestigious brands, Calvin Klein. She cast for those guys, and I literally met her the very next day. But understand, I was in all these agency spaces multiple times, going up there pretending like I had meetings with people I didn't have meetings with, saying random vague Chris Morgan, Robin, random names. They're like, who? I'm like, Chris, he knows me. And guys, a few times I actually got in the door like that. But that's what I'm saying. There was
Okay,
nothing
that's
I wasn't
finesse.
willing to
If that's not finesse, I don't know what is. That is the
seriously.
ultimate finesse.
Seriously. Like, you just got to have that mindset. Like, whatever I'm putting my mind to, I'm going to do it. And that's why I say you have to be calculated in the things that you choose to do. Because once you make the decision, you should be strong-minded. You shouldn't, like Precious was saying about owning your thoughts, you should have figured out every single case scenario before you even made the decision. So by the time you've made it, you can stand 10 toes down and affirm your decision. And guys, understand, not everything that you do is going to come with some type of tribulation. It's going to come with some type of trial, right? It's going to come with some type of energy, negative energy that's trying to block you and block your blessings. You're going to have that. There's going to be anything that you do. So don't come into the expectation like, oh, well, if it's meant for me, then it'll go smoothly. Absolutely not. Sometimes the things that's meant for you are going to take the roughest journey to get through. Right. But understand there is something on the other side of that will look very beautiful, very glorious. And if you keep the end in mind and just keep moving through faith, you'll get there.
Dope. So we're going to wrap this up with some rapid fire questions. So it's kind of like a this or that type of format. Okay. So oatmeal or smoothie?
Smoothie.
Took you a while to think about that one. Audiobook.
I know. Really, oatmeal was hard. I love oatmeal. What?
No, what is so funny? Why, ever since your grandmother put oatmeal, like milk into my oatmeal when she cooked for us in the morning, I've never stopped putting milk in my oatmeal. Like, I don't know. I think we were like, I don't know, 10 or maybe I was like 10 at the time or something. I was like, no, I like water in my oatmeal. And she was like, girl, child, you don't know nothing. Let me put this in here. And ever since then, I have never made my oatmeal with water ever again. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, oatmeal water is not.
Use milk in your oatmeal. I mean, now I use almond milk. You're missing out. Okay, but you said smoothie. And that's just us getting older and being on this health and wellness. It's like, smoothie, grab and go real quick.
Facts.
Okay, so audiobook or real book?
Audiobook.
London or Paris?
Paris.
YSL or Tom Ford?
YSL.
Talk or text?
Talk.
What's your definition of love?
Unconditional. Love, I feel like love is something that you give even when you don't feel like it, even when they piss you off, even no matter what, you really know you love somebody. You know, when you're willing to stick by them through the worst and you can see the best in them even when they're at their worst.
Nice. Well, Imani, I appreciate you for sharing all your gems and sharing your light with us tonight. I know it's going to bless lives. What I love most about this Mastermind series is that this content will live on forever. Like, this will be something you'll be able to look back on even 3 months from now and being like, man, I'm not even that person no more. I didn't grow, exactly. I elevated, and I have accomplished everything I said I was working towards. And so that is definitely the beauty of having these conversations, being able to reflect back, and then also allowing others to then benefit from this without us even doing nothing. Like, this is us creating impact and being leaders alone. Just even creating space and having this platform for people to learn from our journey and from our lessons and from our wins to be able to then use that for their benefit. So I appreciate you. And if there's any closing encouragement or affirmations you want to give the people, please, you have the floor.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you, Precious, for having me on this today. This Mastermind series, I think it's an amazing idea, and I love to see you shed your light and spread your light because you've been such an impactful person in my life. So you've been able to do that for others. I'm always going to support that and always be here because I think you're probably one of the best kept secrets that the world has to offer. So definitely appreciate you doing that. And guys, for everybody that's on this call as listening, I want you to really know, like, I mean, I think I said a lot, but if you really have a dream and really have something and you have a vision, and I always talk about vision because vision is oversight, guys, and you can only seeing is believing, and sometimes you really have to put your vision in front of you to believe it because so many of us, we're so caught up in our reality, right? You wake up and you see what it is that you have, and we work for exactly that and to maintain exactly that, and then you wonder why you can't get more over time. And you really have to start preparing your mind to be able to afford the things you want. That's why I didn't say, oh, I'm trying to get I could have easily been like, I'm trying to get a little BMW, probably like 2015, 2014. I could say that, but if it's just as easy for me to manifest that as it is for me to manifest, a Maserati or a Mercedes or a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or whatever the case may be, if it's just as easy for me to do that as to manifest that, guys, it's all about what you're giving your attention to. And I've learned that through my journey, because the more success I get, I have to backtrack it and say, yo, you visualize this. You really, this is how you got this. You really believed. And some of my greatest mentors talk about that all the time, but you don't really know it until you've done it for yourself. So I definitely say, guys, like, visualization is super key. Put yourself in the shoes of where you want to walk, you know, like literally, like if you want to go there, you're gonna have to fill those shoes, you know, because until you can, you won't ever have it. And that enough should wake you up and realize, like, man, if I want to get to the next level, not only do I have to surround myself around people that are having that, some type of mentorship or something, you know, you cannot do it by yourself. You can go fast alone, but you're going to go very, very far with people, with a group, with a team. And then as well as just always being a student of the game, always being humble, always being willing to know, you know, no matter how much people will praise you, and the more success you have, guys, the more you'll get praised. The more you won't even have to brag. You won't have to tell people who you are. They'll tell people who you are. But the thing about it is that even with that, remaining humble, because there's always somebody doing more. That's just the way it is, always. Or at least looking like they're doing more, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? So the mindset is that I can always learn from people. I'm never too good to learn, right? Because I'm a student of, and that person might be the me one day. That person might be the person that had, like, they're next up. They're heating up, you know? So you always want to be a student and always be listening, man. That's really how you're going to get to the next level. Humble yourself. Find you a mentor. Find you a dream and a goal. Make it big enough that it scares the crap out of you, and put it all around you so it fills you up, guys, and let's get it. That's it.
Well, clearly I'm about to go rewrite my vision statement. That's what I'm about to do tonight. So I definitely encourage all of you, write your vision out. What does that day look like once you've achieved the level of success that you're looking for? And I know for me, I have my vision everywhere. I have it written down in Word format. I have it on my phone in pictures. I have it as my screensaver. Like, everywhere I turn, I see my vision. So I'm constantly knowing what I'm working towards and why. And so I'm excited to continue to just be, I call myself Queen of Faith and Productivity. I want to help people be more productive and be able to build more sustainable platforms for themselves, because at the end of the day, we're trying to build our legacy and build our name. And so generational wealth, that's what we're working towards. So
absolutely.
Love you once again. We got to link up soon. You know,
of course, I love you as well.
Have the mask and all that quarantine stuff, but you know, praises to God for His protection. So, all right, everyone, have a great night. And yeah, Imani, I'm gonna hit you up.
All right, appreciate that, Precious. Thank you.
Bye.